All right, you're back with Sensation. We're on a hunt today. We're not on a hunt, we found it. I'm going to pick up a parts PC. It's a PC a guy took in on trade he don't know nothing about. And I know it's a DDR3 system. It's got, looks like maybe a GTX 750 graphics card, but it was torn apart. It looks like it's in pretty bad shape overall, but we're gonna find out. And it's sketchy stuff. I mean, it's off of Marketplace. I'm driving about 48 minutes away. I'm in my big Yukon. So she ain't the friendliest on gas, and I chose her over the little Subaru over there simply because she has gas in her. So we're gonna take this. I'm not gonna film picking the stuff up, but I'll film what I get after I pick it up and get down the road, because we're going to a pretty sketchy area. So we're just gonna leave it at that. But this is going to be your next video. It's how I buy stuff off of Marketplace. So stay tuned. We're just going to go through this together. But we're in our Yukon. I'm going to have to set the GPS up real quick here. I'm not going to keep the GoPro on the whole time. I got a lot of stuff going on, so I really don't have the time to be running down and doing this stuff today, but I'm going to end up doing it anyway. That's just how it works with Sensation. I mean, you can't pass up a $50 deal, guys and gals. You can't do it. And I don't remember the address, but I'm going to search it here. And I don't want to show it to you guys or gals because they probably don't want random people showing up. And honestly, you probably don't want to drive all the way down there just like I don't. So 30-mile drive, 48 minutes it says. And I don't really want it to show. Well, help me understand. I guess it's going to show turn by turn on my phone, but I got it up on my navigation unit here. So we're going to take that 30-mile drive, 48 minutes, and we'll catch back on after we pick up what I'm going to get. All right, we're almost home. We almost back with getting our $50 computer today. It's a complete unit. It's kind of in pieces a little bit. The memory's out of it, graphics card's out of it. It's got like 3 hard drives in it though. One of them's an SSD. So we'll get home and it's dirty. This thing is filthy. You wait till you guys and gals see it. See the beautiful scenery we got here? This is down the road from my house. I live kind of out in the woods here in Florida, so I'm out of town, and you believe that I got 5G fiber internet out here? And that's because where I'm at is building like crazy, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here, but we'll see. I'm kind of a small town boy, and I don't want the city built around me, if you know what I mean. I just don't want to build around me, so I kind of like being out here where it's beautiful, and I hate seeing it get built up. I won't show you where they're building at, but if I take you right down the street from me, it's insane with the construction and the widening of our highways. And just enjoy the scenery a little bit here on the ride. We're almost home. I'll show you what we got. It's filthy, filthy, guys. I normally wouldn't buy nothing this dirty. But for $50, I mean, with an SSD, I don't know nothing about it. I can tell you the graphics card's not what I thought, and I'll show you what it is. It's not super exciting. So it's kind of a mystery processor and stuff. Looks like an old Intel 1155 or 1156 board, to be honest with you. I don't think it's an 1150 or anything like that. So we get pulled in the yard here. I'll back it up to the shop because it's going to need cleaned up. So I'll just back into the shop to do all that. And I'm not taking it in the house in case there was roaches or something in it. So let me get it out to the shop and I'll show you guys before I take it out. That way you can see how bad it is. All right, we're back. My shop's a mess, so you'll have to excuse that. I gotta clean it out, take some stuff out to the sheds and stuff like that. I'm a mechanic too, so you see stuff tore down like transmissions, and you guys and gals know exactly what I do. The old Firebird back there I'm working on. Oh, and we got engines, of course. along with the table saw, and that was my wife's estate sale score right there. She bought a new dining room table. We're gonna sand this down and match our trim in our house, all of our trim work and our other furniture. And that's gonna be our new dining room table. So that's nice. I'm gonna show you what we got today. We went to a sketchy area, but it wasn't a sketchy person. That it could go either way when you're in that area, so you kind of don't know what you're getting into, just like any marketplace deal. I'm gonna grab a water real quick here, and because we're gonna clean this in the shop, I'm gonna set up a table to work on it on, a bench table, and that way we can get it tore down and cleaned up. And I'll grab my tripod so I can set you guys and gals up. And Simsation's back at it. I mean, this is what I do if I run low on stuff or I need other projects or something. Then without further ado, here is the unit. It's another Hoff case. This thing is filthy. Look at this. You talk about dust bunnies for years in here. And I ain't kidding you. I know it's an old Intel board. You can see the memory laid down in there. There's the graphics card. Hard drives, though, it looks like there's an SSD sitting in here. Right down there, I believe that's an SSD. Then, of course, you got those hard drives. He said one of them he knows is a terabyte. So you see all the SATA cables plugged in. I don't know what the CPU is. It's a mystery. It does have a power supply in it. I'm going to guess probably, I believe it's a Dynex, so it's probably a 450 or 500 watt, but we'll see on that. I'll get it out of here. We'll get it torn apart, start cleaning it up, and we'll see what we got from there. Alright, so we got it tore down now as far as I'm going to go. I might pull the fans out of it since they're so dirty. This has the fans, mine don't. So I have the same case as this. You'll see mine's white though, because I went ahead and I pulled these cages out. I could do that to this case if you guys and gals want to see it. So you have to comment in the video and tell me if you want to see me pull this case apart and restore it. We'll paint all this silver on the inside. We'll repaint the case on the outside. The way you do it, you drill these pop rivets out here. And then I got new pop rivets to put it back together once it's painted. So we have a first generation i-series motherboard here, which is going to be probably an 1156 if I had to guess. Pretty sure the 1156s was that, but it's a good board. It's an MSI board. I don't know that it's good because we haven't tested anything, and before I put too much time in it, we're going to test it. But look how dirty it is. And you want to see dirty, look at that graphics card. There's no way that thing was cooling. So let's see what we have here. We have an Intel i5 650 CPU. I'm going to try to get you where you can see that. Maybe turn it just right, hold my tongue right, and you can. I don't know, but it is a first generation i5 650. We have a solid state drive here, which is going to be a Samsung SSD 830. I'm not sure of the size. I'm wanting to say it's probably, by the model number, 128 gigs. 200 gig SATA drive right here, but under here we have a 1 terabyte Hitachi Desk Star. So that's a terabyte drive. Graphics card is an MSI gaming series, and this one is going to be, let's see if we can get there, R9 270 gaming 2 gig card. So you see it on the tag right there. So nothing to really write home about, but I'll tell you, I think the case is okay. Here's the side panels board here, and I'll show you what I'm going to use to clean this up in a minute. But it looks like they might have broke a clip or two on this. So that top clip definitely looks like it's busted off, but these clips are still on. So I'm not sure. I know as far as the front covers go, it only had this one. So at least it gives us one to stick back in there, right? I'll have to see how mine is, but the panels are here. All this stuff is in okay condition. So this case might be salvageable. This has the big fans on it though, and mine was missing those. So I might just park this case out and junk it. But you see, we also have a fan controller here, which is nice because I need this for another computer. So that worked out good for me. This is pre-USB 3, the Cooler Master Hoff cases are. But there's the fan there. I'm gonna go ahead, I have my air hose set up out here, and I'm gonna take these outside of the shop and blow everything out. The case, the fans, and all of it. And then I'm gonna see what we got, and then we're gonna take the motherboard out, the memory. I'm gonna clean this stuff up, the graphics card, the hard drives, and we're gonna take it back into our studio, our testing area, and we're gonna test all this to see if it works. That power supply and CPU fan, I don't know how it worked. If it's burnt up, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, take a look in there. That's an old Dynex. We don't know the wattage on it because, oh wait, we got a sticker. Let's see what we got. 400 watt Dynex. I'm familiar with that power supply. I used them years ago. When I say years ago, probably 15 or 20. It's old. This is certainly an old gaming rig that somebody used and used and used, and they piled new hard drives in it when those come around. But let's go ahead and not waste no more time. I'm gonna get all this parts cleaned up. We'll take a look at what we got again. It looks like we got 16 gigs of RAM. So we got four 4 gig sticks, but we'll see if we can get it to light up or not. I'm gonna pull the motherboard out of it still, unbolt the motherboard, get it out of there. That way we can test on it. We'll get it all cleaned up and we'll go in and test on it in the studio. And once I get it, I'm gonna clean it up, set it up on the test bench for you. I showed a little time lapse of tearing it down, but I'm gonna tear it down a little farther, get the motherboard out of it, and I might time lapse that too. And just go ahead and take this out so we can pull the parts in, get the parts cleaned up, take them inside. But I'm gonna clean them up with an air hose. I have air compressors, I have a shop. There's the other Big Macs, but this is the one we're using with about 155 pounds of pressure on it right now. So that's the nice part about having a shop, is you can come out when you got them. I didn't want to take that dirty mess in the house, but when they're that dirty and they're a mess, just bring them out to the shop and take it apart and clean all the stuff up. Then we'll go into our test studio area and we'll go ahead and test all these parts up. But $50, guys and gals, I don't think we can go wrong on this. We'll have to see what's good and what's bad. I mean, obviously if it was hit by lightning and burned it all up, then we went wrong. But if we can salvage the hard drives out of it and the memory, it was worth the $50 to me. Hell, it was worth the $50 to get the 2 big fans, so long as they work. My case is missing that, so I'm gonna debate. I'm gonna put the case together, see how it cleans up and put it together, and we'll see if it's worth salvaging. And if it is, maybe I'll do another project where I tear it all the way down and we'll paint it a different color than my other one. So we might do that, or we might not. It looks like they spilled soda or something in here too. Look at the stain on the bottom of that. So I don't know what's going on with this thing. That's why I'm gonna go ahead and start blowing these parts off, and I'll probably time lapse you so you can see that process. I just blow them out with the air hose and a lot of pressure. So I'm gonna do that now. I'll set you up on a time lapse and we'll get this done. have confirmed it had soda spilled on it, and it was laying on top of that SSD there. And that's what the stuff is on the bottom of the case. Soda or some kind of juice or something sticky. And it looks like it got on that graphics card. That might not work, but the board might. We'll see. I'm going to take these parts in now, and we're going to test the parts that come with it. The hard drive, mainly the SSD. The other two I can check later, but just the main component. We'll see what was loaded on it, what Windows version. We're going to go ahead and test the power supply. I got the stuff cleaned up and looking better, so we'll take this stuff here in. We'll give it a test fire. That's the main system. The case, I think the fans are going to clean up pretty good in it, and then I'll check the rest of the case out later. I just want to see what we got for our $50 and what works or not. So there it is, tore down, blown off real good, wiped off some, not, you know, completely, but I'm going to get this inside to the tech room now and get it set up on our test bench, and we're going to fire this thing up, or attempt to fire it up. We'll see what it does, but I'll catch you guys back on when we're in there and we got it set up and we're ready. All right, we got it in here in the tech room and set up on my test bench here. I got everything hooked up. So the hard drive's hooked up, the graphics card. I repasted the cooler back on, got the memory in it. Power supply, 8-pin plug, but we only got the 4-pin on this power supply. So this is a really old power supply. It is, but it did have a 6-pin for the GPU. This is sloppy. I mean, the HDMI port, and I know my cable's good, this thing just falls into place, so I'm not sure how good that's going to work. But we just got it set up here. You can see we got it plugged in and hooked up. And I'm going to flip that power button on, and we're going to push that power button, and we're going to see what it does. So let's turn that on and jump back in case it explodes on us. No explosions. Don't smell nothing burning, so that's good. No power lights on the board, so we don't know if she's powered up or not. Who knows? So watch that CPU cooler. I'm going to hit this power button right here. And you see that? It barely turns that fan. So it's trying to power up, it just don't have enough power to do it. Which tells me that it's likely this power supply. And the other thing that tells me that is the fact that no fans are turning. So that thing sat at the bottom of the case, and it had soda or whatever all over it. So it likely shorted that power supply out, or it was inadequate and it just burned up over time. That thing is ancient. I have a new power supply on its way now from Amazon, and it's going in this unit right here that I'll be doing a video on when the new power supply comes in. So, which will likely be today or tomorrow, I'll do this video. But in the meantime, I'm going to take that power supply out and test these parts. And I guess if we do this build back in that Hoff case out my shop that we picked up today, then I don't know if it's going to work. It had soda on it. I cleaned the graphics card off the best I could. You can see I got all that sticky stuff off of it. But I don't know that it's going to work. I just don't know. We're going to have to wait till we get the power supply to check it, though. I mean, obviously it's not powered up. So far in our $50 build ain't going too good. We have to get us, I'll just wait. It shipped from Amazon. It'll be here today between 2 and 6 p.m. they said. So I'm going to get to test it, obviously. I think it is the power supply, and I really do believe that. And let me make sure that they got it flipped right. Yeah, it's on 115 right there, so that's correct on the power. What is the easy overclock switch? Look at that. You turn that switch right there with the 2 prongs and you overclock her. She got an easy overclock on her. We might try that out once we get it going. You can buy Xeons for these that are 4-core 8 threads, and I think it's an 1155 board. I don't think it's an 1156, but I get the two confused. I think 1156 was in fact the first gen, but I could be wrong. It might have been second gen. 1155 might have been the first gen. But I'm pretty sure it's 1156 it was. But I don't know. It's got an i5 650 in it. Which really, back in the day, they were pretty good gaming CPUs. But if you can get the Xeon or the i7 first gen series to go in it, you're much, much better off, guys and gals. But it is a pretty nice MSI board. And we do have the 8 gigs of memory. And this is a good test bench for us to test out our 4 gig sticks. Well, 4 of them, but one of them's bad. So once we get it up and going, we're liable to use this to test that. But I got to wait for the power supply to come in. We'll check it one more time. Flip that on. The reason I think it's the power supply, though, and not anything else, is because if you look at that fan on the power supply, look in there. See how it tries to turn when I hit the power button? It's trying to turn and it just doesn't have enough power to do it. So, it's either a bad motherboard or a bad power supply, and because the fans won't come on and nothing spins long enough, and it goes just like that, I'm going to bet you that it is a bad power supply, but we're going to find out. I'll have to wait for the power supply for you to come in. It might be hours for me, but for you, it's going to be no time at all.